Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Anderson, Clean Power Wash, Salisbury, Maryland. Want to kind of talk with you about all this board of directors, election, who's eligible, blah, 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 nonsense that's going on right now. And obviously, regardless of the outcome, one of the first things that needs to be dealt with on the next board's plate needs to be getting the bylaws fixed once and for all. It really, I understand that committees and boards and whatever take forever to get things done, but it just needs to be done. And I've talked with several people. You could literally set up, all right, here's the first meeting in January, let's figure out what we want to do, and then by February go ahead and confirm and validate it, or at the very least before you meet in February, put out the proposed amendments or revisions and let us weigh in as a membership. This is such an issue right now because ultimately we're left right now going into this next election with apparently only one qualified candidate to run the org. The false assertion was made that in order to run the UAMCC, you need to have been there forever and have all this experience on the board and blah, blah, blah. Sorry, that's total garbage. I think you should be in the organization for minimum 1 year. I'll agree that you should be, in business for at least 2 years. Beyond that, and it's a good idea to at the very least say, you know what, if you decide to run, you need to get qualified or get certified for get some sort of certification. And obviously all of that stuff can be fast-tracked. It's very simple to fast-track a certification if the powers that be want to. But right now we've got a huge problem as far as who's eligible. And going back and forth over the letter of the law, the spirit of the law. Not sure why all of a sudden everything needs to be followed exactly, even though that's part of the issue is that things have not been done properly. But the way that the current bylaws are listed puts a kind of almost a lock on certain people in power and control. Because as we've seen, the board doesn't stay the full 2 years. A lot of them have quit out of frustration. Very few, if any, have quit because, health issues or whatever. And no offense if somebody had health issues and they resigned and I didn't know about it. I don't know everything. But guys, the current process right now as an organization of 700 or 800 people, that basically 1%, that special 8 or 9 people, makes up the board. And with the current bylaws, you have to have been on the board for minimum 1 year before you would be eligible to run for, or be nominated, much less run for the presidency or for any of the executive board. And right now, and either there needs to be a clause where if there's such a limit to the number of people that are eligible, which again, if we go back to what I was recommending, 1 year, 1 full year as a member, 2 years in business, and either be certified or be able to be certified. And you could even throw one more thing, that they've been to a convention. Because you really wouldn't have an idea of what you're getting yourself into if you have not been to a convention. But right now we're left with, again, such a small number of people that can even be potentially elected to any of those seats. And I really think, I mean, I've seen all this stuff with Christy White right now. She doesn't have a year on the board. She should not be eligible to be VP, president, or any other executive board position, according to the bylaws. Now, do I think that Christy would be a bad VP? No. Quite frankly, I don't know her enough. I've seen and interacted with her on a very limited basis, to the point that I cannot say if she would be good or bad at it. And to leave only one option, only one possible candidate, who up until, like 3 weeks ago, had no chance of becoming president, because Ray Burke would have been the pretty much deadlock, unanimous, consensus, all-American, whatever vote with this. And anybody who wants to dispute me, you're an idiot. Sorry. Sorry, this road's bumpy. Yeah, that's why we have to open this up. It's not realistic that what we decided on for candidates back in 2015 is now going to determine who we can potentially have as president here in 2017. I get that's the way that it's worked out, but it's just not a realistic way to say that, so now we've gone from 1% of the people were voted, and now there's only one person out of that 1% that's even eligible to be nominated, much less run to be president, because that doesn't set your organization up for success. Even if it was the only candidate was Ray, so now we're screwed. We don't have a viable VP candidate based off the attendance records from the other members that are still on the board, that have been there for at least a year. William Davis, he could be a great president. I don't know, but he hasn't been on there for a year, so he can't run. So that's really where you get into this position. And also looking at the amount of turnover that we have had on the board, that is another big reason why this has to be revised. We need to have more people eligible to be potential candidates. I spent time on a committee. I will be 100% honest. I don't think that, it gave me a brief glimpse into how committees can be so unbelievably inefficient, and some of the politics and even things that went on there. But also the big thing for me with it is that I didn't learn anything. Like, that being on that committee didn't teach me more stuff that I need to know about running a successful organization or a successful company. And the whole notion, well, hey, I've been here for a while, so I should just become president. That's a horrible, horrible way to decide who should be, who should get a raise. Well, I've been here for 10 years, I deserve a raise. Cool. What have you done in that time period to earn a raise? How successful have you been in business? Which is the other big thing that I think needs to be looked at and clarified, is this whole conflict of interest, that you can't have any other businesses, this and that. Certain examples are very clear cut. Yes, if you are an actual vendor or associate member, then I agree, you should not be able to run as the head of a nonprofit. But I want to follow a winner. I don't want to follow somebody who doesn't have a successful business, that hasn't been a good leader and shown that they can lead well within the organization. Sorry about that. My contact came out. It still doesn't feel good. But yeah, I mean, again, so that's why we need to relook at the criteria that we're using to decide on who should be able to be voted for. I think there is more benefit to having it be open than there is potential negatives or downfalls there. am I?